Let me know when you do it.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hey, Brian. Oh, I was enjoying your thing yesterday. Um, it's a bit tedious, but what can you do? It's real time. You can't cut out some of the
Yeah,
stuff.
Brian, we were both watching your videos, and it was really cool.
Yeah,
I like those marbles. The marbles are freaking cool.
yeah.
Wage slave, absolutely. I can once we get into the new location and I have a climate controlled lab. I see no reason why I couldn't do something live at some point.
Well, one thing I was thinking about for next week possibly is I've got the concentrates from this last 300 pound. No, no, that was more like 700 pounds
Hi, honey bunny.
that we could pan while we're doing it. Yeah, we're working on. We'll try and set up a real studio, not a fancy one, but a basic studio setup in the new location, the new trailer, because we have enough room that we can set things up here. I mean, right here is just. I mean, our entire studio here is. It looks smaller than the living room at the
Oh,
double
yeah.
wide.
And
You know.
basically, the office area in the double wide is about the size of this area here.
It's not quite as wide.
Not quite as wide,
deep,
but
so to speak. But yeah, it's got a lot more room, and we can pretty much do a. What do you
Brian says the iron starts to drop out at a pH of 3.5. Hi, Jeff. And stop dropping out at a pH of 8. Well, that's cool.
is that whatever complex the Eco Goldex is making out of it? Because I'm not sure what complex that is.
Well, it could also be the iron from the sulfides.
No. What I'm saying is, in order to dissolve, it's not iron.
Yeah.
It's an iron ion combined with something else. And so the question is, what is that complex?
Well, I keep wondering why we randomly and only randomly keep getting Prussian blue type colors showing up.
Yeah, that would be the ferrocyanide.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But considering that there's iron in that well water all the time, that's why it doesn't make sense
There's
to
iron in the ore too. I'd say it's. If we were chemists and had a decent lab, life would be a lot different.
Many things make no sense to me. I will be the first to admit that.
Go ahead and put up the bead thing, little one. Now this is the latest bead we got.
Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to get this bead for you here. He's taking...
I can talk while you're doing your thing, little one. This bead was made by taking the gravity concentrates from about 200 pounds of ore and inquarting silver directly to the concentrates, putting it in a litharge flux, smelting it down, then taking the precious metal bead from that, which had a lot of silver in it, dissolving that in nitric acid, which leaves the gold behind. Here, what?
Well, hold on, guys. Okay, what Brian was saying is keeping the pH above 11 and doing a filter separates the iron from the leach, makes iron hydroxide that is red and gelatinous. Okay, now what...
Gelatinous is less than ideal, but you do it.
What he's talking about here is this bead, which that's a really crappy picture, but okay, there isn't much I can do about it.
Can I finish talking? Anyhow, so then that residue from the digestion was fluxed again with a litharge flux and cupelled down. I mean, after making the button and then cupelling it down to give a gold bead, theoretically. Now, that doesn't look too much like gold. Okay?
Hi, Lars.
So there's obviously something else in there. You'll also notice it is far from smooth. So it looks to me like there's some sort of material in there that's not fusing properly, but there is some that's kind of alloying with the gold to change the color. This is why we thought we might have platinum group in there. I just got the results called in from the lab.
That's what Brian Smith says is platinum group metal contamination.
Sure looks like it to me. Anyhow, from the lab here, which was just doing a solution assay, the solution concentrations of platinum group was below detection limits on that solution sample that they had. And that's less than 0.01 part per million. So, not sure what's going on still, but that doesn't look like a gold bead to me.
Well, to give you some insight from my point of view on this, up until the last 2 or 3 batches of concentrates from the sluice, when I did the inquart and digested and all that stuff initially, we were getting deep butter yellow beads. Then when I went to doing just a nitric acid direct digestion of the concentrates themselves over a period of days to a week, we were still getting deep butter yellow beads.
Not as yellow.
Not as yellow, but they were still frank yellow serious gold beads, okay?
Like 18 karat or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened here, and then now the time before this bead, the 2 times before this bead, we ended up with barely yellow or bright silver bead. And yeah, it's huge because it was taken under a microscope, wage slave. I wish it was that big.
What was it, 4/10?
Yeah, it was 4/10 of a gram.
Yeah.
Hi, David Villa. And when I started getting frank silver beads, I was like, no, this is ridiculous. I should not be getting silver beads. Hi, Boss Recreational. So this time I went with the full silver in quart again. I used an excess of silver, took it all the way through. We digested it down. When I digested these debris, the debris I ended up with did not have the appearance of my normal debris. Normally my debris looks like a light rust color when I end up with a deep butter yellow bead. This debris was a dark brown to black, and when it was broken up, you could see silver in it. You could see a white metal color in it. And the bead, as you can see, when it came out, looked maybe 12 karat, 14 karat gold, or what you'd expect 14 karat gold to look like if it didn't have copper in it. That silvery gold with a pebbled texture. So yeah, there's something weird going on. And quite frankly, I don't think it's the equipment. I think it's something in the actual solutions themselves. But for some reason, the testing of the chemical solutions does not seem to be matching reality. So I am ignoring all chemical solutions.
Well, the reason we tested the solutions was because that resin we stripped, that partially loaded resin,
Hi, Harry,
seemed to have a similar sort of issue with the color. So the presumption was, well, possibly we're dissolving platinum. It's loading first, then getting kicked off by something else. So let's test the solution. I don't know. I don't think, I can ask, but I don't think Hittle does platinum group. And to send it to ALS or whatever is just going to take a long time.
Well, since it's winter, we have weeks to months. I mean, that's not a disagreement. Hi, Chris. Chris Saucier is here.
Yeah.
Hello, Chris.
So that's a perfectly reasonable possibility.
Yeah, I mean, as I see it at this point, I personally think the best course of action if we had concentrates, or if we
We
had them,
do.
or we could send them.
We have concentrates sitting there at the new house that haven't been panned out yet.
Wage Slave says it doesn't look like PD contamination because the bead would be smoother. Well, Wage Slave, that's not the best picture in the world, and I wish I had gotten a better. Actually, we have the bead still here. So what I'm going to do, people, is I'm going to get that bead under a microscope again, and I will take some better pictures for you to show you next time.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not going to try to get them now while we're live. It'll be ridiculous to try to get them now.
Well, what I'd like to do on the new office setup, I'd like to have a camera on me.
Yeah.
Potentially a camera shot. I mean, I think we should be able to set it up so that the camera's looking at me and the whiteboard on the wall, where it's a stationary setup. It doesn't change. But then have a secondary camera we can put to you, or to, like if we're doing a panning demonstration or something like that too. Because I don't know about you guys, but it seems funny when she's talking and she has a lot to input stuff. I'm just sitting here doing nothing. So all you're seeing is a doofus keeping his mouth shut and listening. And I think it would be better if we had a camera where Eva can click over like that.
Wage Slave says, I have a confession. Oh no.
Oh dear.
And Brian says, if the surface looks like feathers, it's platinum group metal. Wage Slave says he's from Canada. Oh dear.
Oh, a Canuckastani.
Brian, it doesn't necessarily look like feathers to me. It has, now the last Frank silver bead I had almost a honeycomb pattern on the top. I mean, literally, it almost looked like a honeycomb pattern on top, like you would expect a geodesic dome to look like. This one has a lot of very smooth area on it, and then it becomes very pebbly.
Looks to me like the surface you'd expect if something was sintered, with an excess of bonding agent, so to speak. But that's what it looks like.
Patrick says, I'm going to need a camera on me too, just in case. Patrick Jobling is here. Hi, Patrick.
Hey, Pat. No, it's entirely possible. Well, actually, it's more than possible. We really want to also set it up so that we can do like a lot of the other guys have, where people log in from different areas and you can see and listen to them too. Because we got people like Rock Butcher and all kinds of people that.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be.
It would be nice if they could.
That's going to be more like a Zoom
better.
meeting that is then live streamed. I'm really not sure how we're going to do it. And of course, now Wage Slave wants to actually see live experiments, which means we're going to have a camera for the lab.
Well, no, not necessarily. All you have to do is take your, call it camera 2 or whatever, and a long cable.
Uh-huh.
So we can go in the lab and you can do it from there.
Well, all y'all can feel free to send cameras or donations, since I'm the one that has to set all this crap.
Yeah. So
yeah, it says, I was here on time. One view, Keith, you're a ventriloquist. You sound like Eva. Hi. Go ahead.
I'm amazingly good at that at times. But anyhow, so again.
Yeah, a Zoom meet is what we're thinking of, Brian. I just have to figure out how to do it on OBS and get it live so everybody can watch.
Yeah. Again, we've spent almost all our time working on the double wide, getting it ready for habitation. And during the process, Eva has taken some pictures. Now, mind you, this is just a small selection of things.
I'm going to get in here and start putting pictures on the screen so y'all can see the kind of nonsense that we're having to deal with here.
Now, I'm not sure exactly what the history of this trailer is. But I'm judging that.
Okay, so this is bathroom 1. This is the master bath right here.
As you can see, how to keep your pipes from freezing in the winter, just take the doors off.
And it should also be noted that the wall outlets are on a different circuit entirely than the ceiling lights are. Yeah, it's a crack house remodel is what it is.
Yep. And you can tell by the bars on the doors and stuff.
Oh, we're getting to that. We're
But,
getting to that. Let me have some fun here.
But for some reason, they had a lot of security concerns, even though I don't
This
think
is
they had anything
bathroom
to see.
2. Now notice the light that is dangling from the ceiling here. That light has now been moved to the living room. And notice all along the edge of the ceiling here, you can see it's like really seriously stained. And the window is kind of messed up. And the
caulking needs work.
caulking and the whole business with the shower head
Shower
here.
head's kind of unusual.
And note the toilet seat. If you take a look, the original toilet seat on the toilet bowl was like totally the wrong
Yeah,
size.
that is the original one.
That's the original one. That's the picture I took.
No, David, I did not. There was when I was crawling underneath, I was wearing a mask a lot of the time there, both for dust and mold.
Now, this is a good view of the edge of one of the bedroom door frames here. This is one edge of the bedroom door frame. This is the other side of the same door. Okay?
It appears pretty obvious that
This is
the
the kind of
original door
weird
got
stuff.
demolished, and they put in a pre-hung door from somewhere else that was designed for a different wall.
Oh, yeah. I mean, none of the doors in here work. Now, take a look at this kitchen ceiling. You'll notice all of the shop industrial,
Chic.
the shop industrial fluorescents are all chained together here, which is a little bit bizarre. And it should also be noted that these lights are on an entirely different circuit than the outlets in the same room. And the outlets are not GFI, by the way. So
Yeah.
there is that.
We'll have to change that out.
This is the back door area. This is the laundry room area. Now this is a smaller panic beam here on this door than we have on the front door. The front door is like a 4x4 practically.
Look at how cock-ass that door is in the jam, too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is the kind of thing that we are dealing with here. And yeah, shop lights half working. It's bizarre, okay? It is bizarre and unaccountable shit. But that is what we are dealing with. That is the bizarre and unaccountable shit.
Well, that's not the big problem.
Oh, tell them about today when you were trying to figure out what
Just trying to figure out
circuits went to where.
the electrical circuitry, which breakers went to which areas and stuff. But no, it started out with
Oh,
the
Brian.
plumbing underneath the trailer. What?
Brian, let me put it this way. The light around the door is nothing. The actual swamp cooler in the wall-mounted swamp, goes directly to the outside. And the fan that's in the over the stove, over the glass stove top, the little fan there, that obviously vents directly to the outside. The fan has been removed and the whole thing has been stuffed with insulation of
With
some kind.
fiberglass.
And yeah, wage slave, OF, what a place. Please get rich soon.
But anyhow, let me continue talking. It started out with underneath in the crawl space. One nice thing about this trailer is there is a trap door in one of the back corner bedrooms, so I can actually get down next to the guest bathroom.
Chris
Easily.
Saucier says, living like kings as long as there's indoor plumbing that's all functional. Well, I don't know whether the showers are functional.
It wasn't functional when we started. Now,
Brian says fresh air, and Honey Bunny says, and you paid or are paying how much for this roach hotel? There's no roaches. Honey
Yeah.
Bunny, it's merely a crack remodel.
Yeah, not very much. Okay, per square footage, it's quite reasonable, because I'm trading labor for rental. He's paying for materials, I do the labor, and I get a steep discount on the rent, about 75% off. But anyhow,
And we only have to pay some of the utilities.
Yeah.
And the phone.
so first thing was I went into the crawl space. In the crawl space, I removed a number of pieces of pipe and lumber and stuff like that, and 5 sack of large garbage bags full of miscellaneous debris. So I cleared that out a bit. And then sometime in the past, for whatever reason I can't tell, the sewer line from the guest bathroom had plucked itself off the relatively poor structural supports that held it to the mobile home and had fallen down, creating a low spot in the sewer line and cracking the lower end. So I had to go in there, cut into that, remove the old stuff,
Shaggy, hi.
drain the old stuff, remove the old stuff, and put in new sewer line properly supported and stuff.
It was only a minor hazmat, people. Don't worry about it.
Then in that guest bathroom, the water supply lines were dripping. And so I thought, okay, well, it's dripping from on top of this ductwork, so all I got to do is cut out that section and put in PEX. So I got everything, all the parts I needed, I thought, and everything, cut the lines, tried to pull them out. They would not pull out. It turns out 2 things. Number one, there's a T up there on top of that. Those were the supply T's for the sink, and they put the T's directly on top of the ductwork. And then someone to seal the hole up so it wouldn't get air or whatever through had squirted that expanding foam so that it just glued it all into a solid mass on top of the duct.
Speaking of totally extraneous issue here. Shaggy says he's been busy in North Carolina, came home 2 days later, had a tornado hit a mile down the road. Oh my word. Yeah, I hope everybody's all right.
Yeah, I hope it didn't do too much damage. Nobody got hurt.
And this is a question for all of you. It seems that these people probably had a kennel or a puppy mill or something going on, because the entire house stinks of dog shit, dog pee, the whole 9 yards. We ripped out all the carpet, and the subflooring had been compromised in a few areas that we're going to replace. Meanwhile, everybody said, oh, just use a couple of coats of Kills and it will take care of stuff. Well, several coats of Kills later, it's still bleeding through the Kills and it still stinks of dog. Now, what I wanted to do before the Kills went down was put that enzyme stuff that you buy at Petco on that floor to see if I could kill some of the enzymes, but I didn't get a chance to. So if anybody has any suggestions about what to do at this point, other than rip out the floor, because the dude who owns this trailer would not pay for that, even though that's what probably needs to be done.
No, it will certainly work. Well, I'm not sure, but that a certain amount of the liquid hadn't seeped under the paneling and into the bottom plates on the walls, too.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what we got there. But anyhow, that's one of the things. As I was saying, so in order to replace said lines, I had to find another place to put T's. I actually cut holes in the duct and routed the PEX through the duct, figuring any bleed right there is just going to heat that whole area of plumbing, because it's sandwiched between a layer of insulation and the floor, the subfloor. So that'll keep all that from freezing without a problem.
Honey says rip out the soaked subflooring. Well, it's already been coated with several coats of Kills and it's still bleeding through the Kills.
Give it time to frickin' dry.
David Villa says clothespins are cheaper, probably at this point.
Okay.
Patrick says Arm & Hammer baking soda and white vinegar.
Possibly. That's it. Right now, the carpet took a long time to pull up because it was glued down 100%. So I couldn't pull up more than a 12-inch wide strip.
Shaggy says he was helping people empty their homes, cut down trees in people's driveway, and tons of supplies delivered to people. Way cool, Shaggy.
Yeah.
Is it still as bad as it looks on social media over there in North Carolina?
Must have been quite rewarding.
The mainstream media, of course, is not saying jack shit, but on social media, we're seeing a lot of videos that things look really bad over there in West North Carolina at the moment. So, since you've seen it, how bad does it look over there?
So anyhow, I got the supply lines done. Then the drain for the tub in the guest bathroom was not sealing properly. So that took a little work to deal with. There was also some drain pipe missing. And once I got all that fixed, then I replaced the insulation on the vapor barrier. So that was a lot of fun under the ground, under the floor. And it appears all the stuff in the crawl space is done, with the exception of I need to hook up and test the heat strip that's on the main PEX water supply line to the trailer.
Oh, Wage Slave says, yep, dump baking soda all over. Shaggy says, the only way I know when mold is growing is remove everything and put new in.
There's not mold there. It's not mold. It's just kennel. Now, underneath that swamp cooler, there might have been some mold there, but that's all getting cut out.
And there's black mold on the outside by the door that makes no sense unless there was... I have no idea
Sometime in the past.
why there is in that particular spot.
Well, the roof theoretically got replaced 5 years ago.
Theoretically.
So,
and at the time, they did not replace all that ceiling paneling.
Yeah.
For some bizarre reason.
So presumably the roof itself was leaking for a while. But so I had to remove all the carpet, scrape the adhesives relatively smooth on the floor. Didn't have to remove all of it, but get it a lot smoother. And then paint it with Kills. On the vast majority of the floor, that seems to be adequate. And another thing, I don't know who the manufacturer is. I haven't bothered looking. But the outlets in this trailer, the majority of them do not adequately grip a two-prong plug that goes into them. I mean, it just literally falls out. So
we have a lot of shorted out plugs that already got removed.
Well, it's not that some arced, but I'm going from one end of the house, just replacing every outlet along the way. And also, I'm not sure if there's a black market in cover plates, but there seems to be a great number of cover plates missing.
Shaggy says there are piles the size of Walmart everywhere down the river, so lots of bad for many states down the rivers. Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, it's truly a catastrophe of biblical proportions for
that David
area.
says wore out probably. Well, I will say this home looks to be what, maybe 80s, 90s? The double wide?
I'm thinking not 90s. I don't think that decor would have been 90s. That would be more like 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. So, yeah, it's 40, 50 years old. So, as I say, I'm just going to go through and replace all the outlets. The wiring is not intuitively obvious as to what goes from what breakers.
We still have to figure out what that nubbed off Romex is on.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's to that switch underneath it. What I'd like to do, since we already have a ceiling light in there,
yeah,
I'd like to see about taking that and running the Romex outside that wall and using that for a light.
Jimmy Robertson says there's an odor and stain blocker kills more than one flavor. Regular primer won't work. Yeah, the one everyone recommended, Jimmy, was Kills 2.
Yeah.
I did not read the back to find out whether that was the right one for this.
What does it say on the label? Has it got a number? Or does it say odor blocker? I mean, Jimmy
Yeah,
would know.
Shaggy, this is some seriously old stuff.
Yeah. And so, as I say, it's going to be a lot of work, but we're going to have a lot more room. We're also setting up a lab in one of the bedrooms there. And we'll have plenty of room on the porch for panning and such. And
Patrick Jobling says clove oil. Yeah, clove oil will mask just about anything.
yeah, but it makes the whole trailer smell too.
Well, Jimmy does bring up a really good point there. What I'm probably going to do is when we go over there tomorrow, I will read the back of the darn thing. Because there's a Kills 3 and...
Yeah, there's... What does he say?
Yeah, Jimmy says odor and stain blocker is what it should say.
Okay.
And Brian Smith says when getting paint mixed, they can now add a scent if you choose.
Anyhow, I say it's the sort of thing where that particular area is going to be kind of last on the list to fix. We're living in the other end of the trailer, the master bedroom area, the master bedroom suite, and that wall of the
Wage Slave says,
living room.
I remember doing mold remediation. We used an alcohol-based primer, and it was awful.
I gotta, probably my next project is to panel that wall that needs it in the office area and get some shelves in there.
Patrick says patchouli oil too. Oh no, thank you. We do not want to smell like hippie potheads.
And
Yuck.
get that area
Ew.
completed.
At least smells good. Patchouli smells horrible.
I'd like to get the fireplace completely renovated. I'm not sure in what condition it is in. I know the rain cap is missing the top. I think Lauren said that the damper needed work, and the firebox, who knows, it hasn't, we need to clean everything out and vacuum it out and inspect stuff. But that's not something I'm very knowledgeable about, but I'd like to get that going fairly quickly so that we can save money. Around here, firewood is actually a perfectly reasonable way to heat stuff. So
Yeah, I was
you have that
thinking
option.
I was thinking it's a shame we don't have a larger shop vac because it certainly would come in handy cleaning out that fireplace.
I'm sure we could borrow Lauren's at an appropriate time. I mean, he doesn't use it, all the time.
Well,
So I'm sure
bear
we
in
can find
mind,
something.
people, the fireplace was a selling point for Dude over here when he was talking to me about this place. He had this hopeful smile on his face, and he said, well, there's a fireplace.
I'm thinking there would be a little bit of aroma of pine in there too, which would help. So,
Well, Jean-Francois, we don't have a mold problem. We have a dog piss problem.
yeah.
These people apparently live like animals. They live like their damn dogs, which is disgusting, which just brings to my mind nobody should be keeping dogs in a house anyway. But yeah, we have a dog piss and a dog shit problem
Yeah.
because these people allowed, see, Brian says cedar smell would work.
Yeah. One of the kitchen sink is, now that might be a way to date it too, because it's enameled steel.
Jean-Francois, that's exactly what I wanted to do before he started with the kills, was put enzymes on it, and he freaked out.
Then we gotta sit there and wait for 2 weeks for it to dry before we can put the kills on it.
Brian says simple green would work for animal smell. We can try that too.
So
Wage Slave says drywall dust, which would be gypsum, takes all smells away.
Huh.
I was thinking zeolite. If we could get some zeolite powder, zeolite will take away a lot of smell.
I don't know. It's livable as it is. We're not going to be living in the master bedroom suite. That's my tool room right now. That's
Yeah, we
the
need
shop.
to get a door on there and get that hole in the
It
wall
has a
fixed.
door on it.
Get that hole in the wall fixed so we can at least confine the disgusting smell to that.
Yeah. But so the kitchen sink, one of the sinks runs slow, the other one drains just fine. So obviously it's just a P-trap. That shouldn't take long.
Ozone too.
Yeah, that could work.
Patrick Jobling says lime powder. We have plenty of lime around.
Actually, I think Henry has an ozone machine that we could probably borrow and use in there.
Yeah,
Just close the
we
door.
could try lime powder. We got plenty of lime around.
Let's say there's lots of things. The main thing is we needed to get it where we could move into it now, not 3 weeks from now. Okay, because we got to get all this stuff moved. And so
Jimmy says what I told you is all you need. And yep,
Okay.
Jimmy, I'm going to check the kills we already had and used. And
luckily, I just used up the last of that second bucket, so that
now, Jimmy, a question for you.
2-gallon bucket.
If it's not the right kills that he's already got down there, if we put the right kills over it, it should work, correct?
I presume so. Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming anyway.
Kill sticks.
David, our time for moving is ASAP.
Yeah, we want to get over there before the weather gets really nasty. Right now, it's just cool. I mean, it's near freezing, but above it most of the time. Not a big problem. Right now,
When Jimmy
We just
says
moved-
yes, thank you very much, Jimmy.
yes, I appreciate it. We just moved that bed in there today. We should have a couch in the next couple of days. But what I've been focusing on here is all the demolition and get the floor covered initially in there so that we can basically start moving stuff in without having to move it around whenever we're doing anything. And then I say, I'll just take that master bedroom for now, and it's just my shop. That's where I'm going to be cutting things and storing the tools, etc., etc. And so that's been my priority. We took basically a dump run today, which pretty much got all the debris and stuff out. It was 21 large trash bags and I don't know,
Random pipes.
some pipe and a little bit of yard stuff and that sort of thing. But so it's been cleaned up. We got the demo basically done. And now we can move things in without tripping over them.
Jean-Francois says ozone machine's cheap and works fast. There was dead animal juice in my truck and the ozone did wonders.
I think I can get that. Put down on my little list over there, ozone machine.
Ryan says, now I have to put a camera mount all over my barn.
Why?
And Wage Slave says, used Barkeeper's Friend to clean the kitchen floor. Oh yeah, Barkeeper's Friend is great. Colorado got 12 inches of snow last week.
Okay. So, yeah, I say we got a bed moved in there today, and pretty much it's getting stuff moved in there at this point in order to make it livable. We also got to get internet over there, and I say just it's a lot of walking up and down steps. Because yeah, we're on the second story here, so everything I got hauled down.
And put these over there on top
Yes,
of
I
the
know.
desk.
I'd rather wait till we have internet before I move that.
Oh yeah, I'm not disputing.
Say so. It's a matter of sequencing stuff to minimize inefficiencies.
Wage Slave says, isn't ozone really bad to breathe? It'll age you. Well, we aren't going to be breathing it.
Yeah, we can close off this area from the rest of the.
Well, my thought is, we close off that area and we just run the ozone machine for an hour, or two while we're out running errands, and then go in, hold our breath, and turn it off.
There's a switch.
Yeah.
Right now, said switch is in the living room.
Yeah.
So we could plug it into that outlet and switch it from outside.
Just make it slide out the windows and throw it all out the windows.
So anyhow, as I say, it's quite the project. It's going to be a lot of work, but it'll keep me busy during the winter.
We still have to get a refrigerator before
yeah.
we can move in there.
We got to get a refrigerator. As I say, it's basically an empty shell, and so there's a lot of stuff that we take for granted here that we won't have over there. We're going to take the Corelle dishes and silverware and stuff out of Bugs, which we rarely use anyhow now. And where I originally equipped it for long-term camping, and now we don't do long-term camping. So it makes for a big difference. And so we'll take a lot of that stuff out of there and just clean it up, put it in the kitchen.
Well, we've got to grab the refrigerator off this deck. I don't know how we're going to get it off here.
It's simple, okay? Borrow a hand truck from somebody, of which we know several somebodies, strap it to the hand truck, put the climbing rope to the handle, run the belay point off of that telephone pole that's easily accessible from the porch without going over the railing, and then you belay it while I just move it down. No problem.
Patrick Jobling says, what happened to Big Jim's, or is he still in jail after the Hooters incident reported on CNN?
I haven't talked to Jim in a month or so. He was working on a project with some other people, and he seems to be busy on that. And we don't have any reason that brings us in contact.
Maybe Jimmy knows if there's other used appliance places around.
Yeah, Jimmy, what would you do to find a good used refrigerator?
Because so far I have found none on Craigslist.
Yeah. So I say that's kind of our situation there, but I've been pretty darn busy. I've gotten a lot of exercise, a lot of scraping, two-handed scraping.
Yeah, you got to return that broken scraper too.
Yeah. And it's sitting on the kitchen counter, ready to go. I also need to return that stupid stuff.
Wage slave, I have not seen any on Facebook Marketplace in my area, and I haven't seen any on Craigslist. Brian, none in my Goodwill, and none in the Sam. We have not yet looked at the Habit store. I want to go down to the Habit store.
Yeah, we can check there.
The Restore.
What was this other one?
Facebook Marketplace.
No, it was something
Hi,
else.
Dave. Maybe Dave knows somebody who's got a refrigerator.
Hey, Dave. Yeah, we're looking for a decent quality used refrigerator. It was something that somebody mentioned. Probably something you said that keyed some, but now it's out of my empty head. But yeah, it's interesting. It's nice getting to the point where it's like, okay, now I can start building stuff instead of tearing stuff apart. I still got to fix that hole in the floor. That shouldn't take too
Dave
long.
Vanderwall says Action Incorporated may have one.
Write it down.
Where is it?
Is that in Butte or where?
Yeah, we're going to end up keeping it outside, Wage Slave, if we don't find one.
Well, we got this used refrigerator that's sitting out here that wasn't working reliably, that we're planning on putting on the front porch over there and using as a poor man's icebox through the winter.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to, that'll work, because during the day, the temperature hasn't been going up above 40s.
It didn't completely die, but I forget what it was that it was doing wrong.
It was not staying cold.
Yeah, why?
Jimmy says Marketplace. He got one today, and there's one white one for 100 in Helena. Would that be Facebook Marketplace? Because when I was looking earlier, I didn't see one, but I can go look again.
Yeah, because so that would do just fine. And I say right now we got a couch for free that we need to pick up, arrange and pick up. Refrigerator
Thank you,
needs to be
Jimmy.
done. Facebook Marketplace, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will check again right now and see if it's still there.
So, say it's I'm just not looking forward to moving everything. Oh, so many trips up and down the stairs. In the lab, I went and bought 24-inch by 48-inch. What the heck do they call that stuff? I don't know. It's a pressed particle board with a white plastic covering over at Home Depot. It's $20 a piece. And then I took our canned goods, stacked them 2 cases wide and 3 cases high in 3 places, put those between. Makes for a very stout countertop there. And we can do that on the other wall. Although we don't have enough canned goods to do that on the other. It took 18 cases to do that. So that's about 200 jars. We got a lot of food to move. Just a lot of stuff that's got to go, and that's going to be a lot of exercise going down those steps. Luckily, it's going loaded downhill, which will help a lot. And as I say, just a lot of work over the next week or so. With any luck, we'll be broadcasting the live stream from there next week. We shall see.
Yeah, we also got to check at the Helena big store.
About 10 or 15 buckets from the porch over here. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, Jean-Francois. I think we changed the defrost timer, but I know we did on this one here, and that fixed the problems it had. But I kind of think it was a problem in the compressor itself, on the one that's on the porch. I forget, but it was, we spent some time trying to fix it, and it didn't want to fix. I think we even took it down to or was that the side-by-side here? I don't know. We took it down to the appliance store. I haven't checked it out.
Now I'm trying to do something here.
Okay.
Because we may have to take off out of here if this is still available.
Well, check it out.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I know. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying check it out. No big deal. So I say it's just a lot of little stuff over the next week, but hopefully if we can get the internet installed by next week and we can get a fridge by next week, we should be broadcasting from there next week. And we'll go from there. Where's my thing? Okay, Dave. I'll keep that in mind. I think mainly it's just a matter of trips up and down. And I mean, the other day I did 18 cases of canned food. And that wasn't too bad because I just take 6 downstairs. I got a little spot where I can stack them at the base of the stairs safely out of the weather and everything. And so I just stacked them down there. And every 6 cases, I just take a 5-minute break, do it again. And that wasn't too bad. My knee's doing okay. So that worked out pretty well. And say I think it'll work out all right. But I'll try and alternate between construction, putting in outlets, and those 2 sheets of plywood, and doing some stuff in the bathroom, which doesn't exert myself very much. And then haul a load of stuff over there and set it in place. I've
got a line on a free one right now. I'm just trying to find out how wide it is.
Okay.
So we may have to log off instantaneously.
Yeah, we might have
She's
to.
over by Walmart.
Okay. We may have to take off here. We shall see. There's apparently a free refrigerator somewhere.
Just showed up on Marketplace less than an hour ago.
Does it have a phone?
No, it's Facebook Marketplace. People don't give out their phones ever. She's over by Walmart.
Okay, so what do? Just text, basically?
Yeah, it's 31 inches wide, so it's going to be smaller than ours, but...
So she's finding out whether or not this thing is available. We may have to take off. We shall see what we shall see.
Yeah. It's 31 inches wide. It's probably going to be smaller than ours. I don't care. It's free. Okay? I'm trying to arrange with her to go get it.
Okay.
Guys, I'm probably going to be logging off here very shortly.
Well, they heard you. Just find out what the situation is. Yeah. No, actually, we want a dumb fridge. We don't like all these electronic devices on our appliances. Sheesh. Just give me a dial. That's all I need. Say, for all I know, she'll want us to come by tomorrow. Find
So
out.
she just asked if we have a truck, and I said, yep, and the flatbed's already hooked up.
Yeah. Oh. Reality. Free is good, yep.
Yeah, free is great.
Oh, thanks, David. Yeah, we should be fine. I've actually been getting a lot of good exercise. High reps, reasonable exertion, but not killing myself. And that is, I was feeling pretty good last night.
2995 Prospect Avenue, number 31.
Okay. They have a hand truck to get into the trailer.
Let me ask.
Yeah. I may have to call Lauren or somebody.
Or we can just go to Walmart and buy one. I can go wait with the fridge.
Harbor Freight. Oh, reality. Isn't it exciting?
Okay, everybody, we got to go get a fridge. Bye-bye.
See you next week, everybody. Thanks for everything.